In the previous episode, I spent 4 days on Tana Island, and here I sail north overnight to the next large island of Erromango and the village of Unpongkur on its west side that is protected from the trade winds. It's Monday the 27th. I left Tana at about 9 o'clock last night after we had a whole crew of people on the boat. And there's Tana behind us now. We are doing well. It was a slow night. I got 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Now we have full sail set, everything up. Again, it was slow for a while, but finally we got some breeze picking up and we're doing 5 knots, which is good. And we're going to this island, Erromango, to a bay called Dillon's Bay. Maybe spend the night there tonight, Monday, and Tuesday head up to Port Vila on Vanuatu Island because there's very strong easterlies forecast and we need protection from them. But it is a gorgeous morning, and because we're sailing north it gets warmer and warmer and warmer. Lovely. It's Monday, May 27th, and after an overnight sail from Tana, coming into Erromango and a place called Dillon's Bay, named for a trader way back in the days who used to trade for sandalwood trees. Next to me is Bushwhacker coming past, and they caught me. They left this morning at 9, but he admits that they used the engine a bunch. And then way behind us, can't actually see it well, I don't know the sails up anymore. A huge katana catamaran called Amalia. They are motoring by the looks of it because it's dead downwind, and I guess they're just taking it easy. Anyway, trade winds have filled in, so tonight I might go over to Port Vila rather than waiting for the really strong trades on Tuesday. This is Dillon's Bay. There's the village up there. There's a river mouth there somewhere, although I don't quite see it right now. Somewhere. The usual black sand beach. And the road, you can't see it now, it goes up the hill there. I might just give that a walk. And then all the rocks along the edge here. With an interesting little cave there, maybe. In there. A sandy beach with a couple of palms, so if I have the energy, I'll paddle the surf ski out there. And there's the point that we came around to come in here. Behind us is Bush Ranger, just furled their mainsail. They've got in-boom furling, so they have to go straight into the wind, and it does manually up at the front seams. And behind is Amalia, big katana fancy catamaran. So there'll be at least 3 of us, but I think probably a couple more, although maybe the others are going to go straight to Port Vila. Now there you can just see the road, a curve of the road there. It goes all the way up the hill, series of curves. Alright, explore this today and probably sail to Port Vila tonight. I dinghied into the village and proceeded to hike up the road, which had been upgraded recently in a World Bank funded project. The road through the village was still a muddy mess, but the new concrete sections up the hill were excellent, and they had left the older double strip parts, which have superior grip, on the really steep sections. Foolish me, I decided to get some exercise. Hiking up this road, incredibly steep. They put new concrete in for lots of it, but back to the old strips of concrete that must have been here for a long time. I was hoping to see some interesting birds. Oh, and there's one right there. Yeah, parrot. Beautiful. But should have brought my binoculars with me. Oh well. I think I'm most of the way up this incredibly steep hike. These parts are actually probably better traction. They're rougher. These old parts. And there's the school. It seems like a high school from the age of the kids. And the village is all along the river. You come in the mouth there and you can see our boats. It's 2 Australian boats. Amalia on the right is a massive Katana catamaran, and Bush Ranger in the middle is some big cutter, and there's Sea Change on the left. Alright, well, when I get down I'll have a nice swim. It appears we're at the top of the steep part now. Regular dirt track for the rest of it. Presumably it's 9 kilometers total to the airport, but sadly Vanuatu Air is bankrupt, and so there's no flights coming in anymore. This is kind of interesting. There's the sign announcing the project, and there's a similar one down below. This left corner down below says World Bank. Beat the Chinese to funding it. And let's see, Public Works MA Builders. Let's see, not sure where they're from. Anyway, the World Bank funded this one, and somebody seems to not want to acknowledge that. This is the detail of the Vanuatuan emblem on the top of the sign. I guess this is so you don't go off the corner. Why, you certainly would not want to go off the corner, because if you did, I don't think you would make it. It is a precipitous drop. And there's the anchorage. Ah, there's an extension of the village. On the other side of the river, I saw a narrow part shallow part where they have rocks across. Just 3 of us, and we'll all leave this evening after dinner, take the good wind that's out there to go to Port Vila before the Maramu comes in tomorrow. Here are 2 of the typical local fishing panga or banana boats that the men take out quite far to sea with just a single outboard engine. They use heavy lines on large reels with huge hooks and live bait to drop hundreds of feet down in search of large fish. We had a massive flood here recently and wiped out part of the village here. So the government built this massive concrete and rock structure to try to stop it happening again, and also put in these solar lights, which is a brilliant idea. Here's the rest of the cruisers being entertained by some of the locals, showing them around. Another World Bank funded project was this clinic. It's a public building here of some kind, and it has a big solar array on the top. Very cool. And it's all properly set up. They have notices elsewhere about the election coming up. There's a Wi-Fi notice. That's study online. And inside, lots of details about the island, including a nice map. Note over here, a resort called Sandalwood Guest House. And all sorts of notices, people weaving baskets. And they sometimes call this Williams Bay. He's the missionary that was killed here and butchered and farmed out to neighboring people. Interesting set of weather terms here. And then these are interesting. These are warnings about marijuana. Don't grow and don't use marijuana. Look at the bottom here. It says, will cause you trouble, put you in jail. Here's some of the diversity of the area. There are several diverse areas that are protected. This big central part of Erromango, big part of Tana, and this is the southernmost island, Vanuatu. And look at the bottom here. This is Mystery Island. This is the island that the Americans launched their planes from to attack Japan, and they could never figure out, Japanese could never figure out where they came from, so it's called Mystery Island. I'm not sure what the rest of this is. There's all sorts of stuff about various kinds of plants. This appears to be some sort of problem with water hyacinth, but they rhinoceros beetle here. I don't know what the story with that is. But this might be an effort to biocontrol some of the mimosa, some of the invasive plants. Yeah, these look like control agents that have been released for these 4 plants. And then inside they have a very fancy set of MPPT charge controllers for the solar panels, a bunch of big breakers, a solar inverter so that you can get it to, I guess, to AC. I'm not sure. Yeah, here we go. Main AC switchboard. And then all of this goes down here, and the main battery switch. And these are presumably the batteries, so that you can have light at night in this building, at least. And indeed, there are lights in the ceiling all over. Very cool. It's good to see. This map is interesting in that it shows the road I hiked up to the airport. And if you want to go to any of the other villages on the island, you have to walk. Plus a diagram showing the names for wind directions and how they affect you in a dugout canoe. Yeah. Somebody has shown me this tree and says this is a sandalwood tree. And you see tiny little flowers on it. Very small little leaves. But that, here's a little fruit. But that's not what people were interested in. It's something inside the wood. And it's a very solid tree, very strong. Something inside there is of interest, and apparently it's still of interest. They still cut them and export them. According to Fred, can I take a picture? Yes? Here's Fred, who showed me the sandalwood tree. Thank you very much, Fred. At the beach, a gang of kids were fascinated by my dinghy before waving me goodbye. After a quick dinner, I set off at sunset for another overnight sail north to the capital island of Efate and Port Vila.